Everybody, it's Zach. Welcome back to the Heroverse. And guys, as you can see from the title of the video, I'm going to be talking about some plot details regarding Captain America New World Order and also the Thunderbolts. These are some pretty big plot details, and I'm going to assume that, take this with a grain of salt. These are kind of like rumors right now. And there's some and the thing that's I'm going to be talking about within the Thunderbolts is pretty big and crucial, and I do think it will change the MCU as we know it, and it actually is going to answer a pretty big answer. Actually, I guess a pretty big question and answer that we've all been kind of wondering about the end of Eternals. But I'm going to start off by talking about Captain America New World Order. The plot detail that's been going around is that Thunderbolt Ross is going to become the president in Captain America New World Order. And of course, Sam Wilson, aka Captain America, his response is he's going to be gathering a team of new Avengers to take down Thunderbolt Ross. And of course, we know kind of the main villain of, Captain America New World Order is, going to be the leader, which I'm super excited because, the last time we actually saw the leader was in The Incredible Hulk. So I'm excited to see how the leader is going to be coming back. And I feel like that there's a reason for that, because the leader, I feel like, is going to be responsible to give Thunderbolt Ross, the gamma radiation that he needs to become Red Hulk. So I feel like that is in itself like a big, key part of Thunderbolt Ross becoming Red Hulk. And, what's crazy to me about that is that also there is pretty much a rumor that just released that Jessica Chastain has been eyed to actually be the main villain of Captain America New World Order, which is very confusing to me because we all thought the leader is going to be the main villain. So the fact of it is that there's a big rumor going out right now that actually Jessica Chastain is actually eyed to play the main villain of the movie. So I don't know if there's going to be two villains or I guess you could say three villains of Captain America New World Order, or, this is just a rumor and she's actually not going to be involved at all. I don't know. I'm actually really excited to see when that trailer drops to see what the case may be. But the fact of it is that this is kind of, what I expected, that, Sam Wilson as the new Captain America would actually gather the new Avengers. And I've been saying this for a while, is that I thought that, that would be the response. And I said that in one of my videos, I think it was the Thunderbolts video, where I said that the response, to kind of the Thunderbolts kind of being the government's new Avengers, I knew that either Sam Wilson would call Clint, or Clint would call Sam to gather up the new Avengers, or the Young Avengers, or just a new set of Avengers in general. I don't know if it's going to be the Young Avengers they're going to be gathering up, or the big set of Avengers, or a mix of both worlds. I'm not quite sure, but I even said and specified that in my video. I said that they would be the ones to gather up some sort of Avengers team, whether it be young or old, the older Avengers. I said that that would be the response, that would be their response to the Thunderbolts being the government's Avengers, which I said for a while that I definitely see that happening in the Thunderbolts movie, or how even in this movie where they get announced as, since he's in the presidency, Ross, that he would announce of his government Avengers, which would be the Thunderbolts that was put together by Val. And I feel like that's what we've kind of been leading up to, is that, he has been wanting to get in this position probably so that way he can get his and Val's Thunderbolts into the, into the government, so that way he can really have control of the Avengers, because as we all know, he did not have control of the Avengers, and that's something that he really hated about the Avengers, that he didn't have control over them. And we saw how that went for him in Civil War, that he just really didn't have control. So I feel like he's been leading to this of having his own version of Avengers, and pretty much hired Val to recruit his version of Avengers for the government. So I'm excited to see how that's all going to go. And I do see the Thunderbolts being shown in Captain America New World Order probably at the end, or maybe in the movie, and maybe they're just keeping that hidden. Maybe I don't know, and maybe that might be the end credit of he releases that, and then that goes into their movie, and that's their first assignment going into the Thunderbolts movie. But I do see it happening where it's an end credit where that will happen, and that will probably set up the Thunderbolts movie, and and what they are going to be doing in that movie. So the fact of it is I'm wondering to see if actually we will see some Avengers be in Captain America New World Order to take down Thunderbolt Ross. I'm not quite sure, but the fact of it is he's gathering up a team. I would assume that this is the start of the Avengers team, and we will see some Avengers in that movie, not just Sam Wilson's Captain America. So I'm really excited to see where that will go. I'm excited to see if that's actually true with Jessica Chastain, if she's actually going to be the main villain. And I'm excited to see if that is so, where will Leader play into things other than the fact that I think the Leader is put in here to give Thunderbolt Ross the powers of Red Hulk, which I'm super excited also, might I add, to see Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross. I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. I'm excited to see, I think he will do a good job because I feel like, there is no other better person to play that role. Of course, after the passing of William Hurt. So, I feel like that was a good, recast, for that character to like continue the story of Thunderbolt Ross. So I'm actually really excited to see what Harrison Ford will bring to the table. And, going into, the Thunderbolts movie, which I feel like these are just hand in hand, will go off of one another, because like I said, that, Captain America New World Order takes place before the Thunderbolts movie. The Thunderbolts movie is actually supposed to be the last movie of Phase 5. But, what I've been hearing is that Deadpool will be the last thing of Phase 5, and Thunderbolts will be before Deadpool 3. So I don't know if that's true or if it'll be flipped around. Who knows? But all I know is that it's going to be very interesting, because the biggest answer that we've all been wondering, and the biggest like question that I guess it's really the biggest answer that we've all been wanting to know is, what does it mean to have the Tiamat Celestial at the end of Eternals when Cersei froze? At least I thought she was freezing it. I don't know if she froze it. I don't know if she turned it into a rock. I don't know if she turned it into like a metal. I'm not quite sure. It was already metal, so I'm assuming she turned it, she froze it, because I think it was in the Indian Ocean, if I'm correct, where, where that big, celestial is just, poking out. And the biggest thing everybody's been wondering is that why hasn't anybody been mentioning it, and what does that mean for the MCU? I'm actually really curious to know why that is, on what this will mean. And we're finally getting the answer to that, because there was a plot detail that released about the Thunderbolts movie, pretty much stating that, the Thunderbolts, their assignment is to go to the island of Genosha to pretty much get, to get a new source, a new material of metal, which is adamantium. So pretty much, that's really, really big. And Genosha, of course, if anybody knows from the comics, is pretty much, it's an island for the mutants, and it's pretty much a safe haven for mutants to go. Magneto started it, the island of Genosha, as a safe haven for mutants, and this pretty much is a big holy shit, they're really going into mutants, and that this is the biggest key part of if you have Genosha, you have mutants. So the biggest question is that of the island of Genosha, will we see mutants on there? And the fact of the Celestial is going to be, this island which the mutants will, inhabit and call it Genosha, that's going to be really cool to me to see if we'll even see any mutants on there. How, is the Celestial, is Tiamat, is he the reason that there is adamantium? Is his body made out of adamantium? Is that where they're getting it, or is it just the energy that made adamantium? These are just questions I wonder. But the fact of it is that I think it's actually made out of adamantium, and hopefully that will mean that there will be adamantium there, and that will rival vibranium, because as we all know, there's kind of there's kind of an uprising of a vibranium war between the government and Wakanda. I mean, how the government always wanted vibranium and was kind of hoping that Wakanda and their that Wakanda giving them resources, the government always hoped that they would give them vibranium, but they just won't, because of the dangers that vibranium has in the US's hands. So that's why Wakanda's just been avoiding giving the government vibranium. That was pretty much what Wakanda Forever was about the people, about the government trying to get vibranium. And I'm excited to see how that will going forward to that. The fact of, now, spoilers for Black Panther Wakanda Forever if you haven't seen it, but at the end of Black Panther Wakanda Forever, we have the Talokan people and the Wakandans working together pretty much to protect one another's, homes, so that way the government can't go after their vibranium. So the fact of it is that I'm excited to see that, Ross must have knew or found out that, there is a Celestial out there and we could probably that we could probably, or maybe they venture off and find that, you know, that like frozen, you know, found that celestial out in the middle of the ocean, and pretty much are like taking that material and finding out that that is actually, it could be either like stronger than vibranium, it could be, you know, something to go against vibranium, who knows, but like he's gonna find that. And I feel like that's what's going to lead into like a big war happening. And I feel like that will be like a distraction, as of like kind of like a distraction to get everybody like, you know, going against one another. So that way the big villain can come in that, you know, we're going to get, of course, in Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars and stuff like that. Or I'm assuming that Kang will be the big villain of Secret Wars as well, not just Kang Dynasty. Or we could be going off to a even bigger threat going into Secret Wars. Who knows, like Doom or something. I'm not quite sure. But all I know is I feel like that would be a big distraction to get everybody wanting to go against each other. Like, you know, Wakanda and the Talokan people going against the government, going against their adamantium, because I feel like that's what we're honestly leading up to, is that the weapons to rival vibranium, which will be adamantium. So I feel like, you know, that's very interesting to me that they are going to be tasked on a mission, the Thunderbolts, to go to Genosha, which is a literal, you know, body of a celestial, which is called Genosha for the mutants. So that's just really crazy to me that we are actually like, that's like a big holy shit moment that we are actually going to be dealing with that and getting mutants like officially like in the MCU. And I don't know if we're gonna like get anybody with like mutant powers on there, or that will be just like we're opening the world of Genosha, and you know and from that point going forward, then we'll have mutants wanting to go there, or like are there people already there that start getting, you know, the mutant gene activated by being on a celestial. Who knows? I'm really curious to know how they will play that, especially because if the celestial is going to be adamantium, and we already kind of like got like an Easter egg about, you know, Wolverine, like what does that mean? Like, does that mean that somebody already knew about the celestial and knew about the metal and kind of did the, you know, experiment on Logan, and he already has that, like, and they already know about that, like, or somebody out there already knows about adamantium? Like, these are just questions I wonder, because they got to put two and two together somehow. They got to put those pieces together. If it's like, this is the first time we're discovering adamantium, how does the person with the metal claws in the bar have that, you know, metal? Because instantly we think of, that's Wolverine in a bar fight with metal claws. That's a hint to Wolverine. So if this is the first introduction to adamantium by them going to Genosha, which is the home of adamantium from the Celestial, how does the person in the bar with the metal claws have that metal? Because we're already putting two and two together. Like, if they're going to find adamantium there, then someone clearly knew about it before to give Logan, Wolverine at the bar, those metal claws. So I'm excited to see how they're going to put two and two together, because I feel like they need to, because that has to make sense. So they got to make it make sense somehow. But the fact of it is the main villain of the Thunderbolts movie is apparently supposed to be I'm trying to remember his name on the top of my head. Sentry. There we go. I don't know much about Sentry other than the fact that people compare him to Superman. So I don't know how the hell this ground level team is going to fight Sentry, because Sentry is like a god. Like, I don't understand. Like, this team, this is like the B team, honestly. Like, we have Ghost, we have Yelena, we have John Walker, we have Bucky, we have Red Guardian, and we have Taskmaster. And I think I got everybody. And possibly also Zemo going on that mission as well, that we just don't know. They're probably going to, like, release that he's going to be in it closer to the release of the movie. I'm not quite sure. But we already know that he's going to be in the movie. But we kind of know who the leader of the Thunderbolts, like, of the Thunderbolts team is going to be. It's going to be, you know, Yelena, and it's going to be, you know, Bucky. They're probably going to be the two leaders of that team to keep the Thunderbolts in check. Which makes sense why they are there, to keep the villains in check. or even some people would probably not even call them villains, but like anti-heroes. So, or some people, hell, would probably call them heroes, and some people would call them anti-heroes, and some people would call them villains. That's what I love about these characters, is that you could really, like, call them an anti-hero, you can call them a villain, you can call them a hero. That's what I really love. So I'm excited to see the idea of all these characters together. It's just not the Thunderbolts team that I had in mind when I had kind of like my lineup in my Thunderbolts video. So honestly, I'm just like excited to see how they are going to fight Sentry. Like, how are they going to fight him? Because he's going to be there on Genosha when they're trying to get the adamantium from the Celestial. But either way, I'm just excited to see how they are going to go against Sentry. Again, I don't know much about Sentry. I'm excited because that's what I love about Marvel movies, is that you get an idea who these characters are. Sometimes they follow the line, a lot of the line of who the character is in the comics. Sometimes they spice things up and do their own kind of version, but still giving us the fan service from what we know in the comics. So I'm just really excited. I probably will pick up a comic or two, or a couple of comics about Sentry to do like a read up on who the character is. But all I know is I'm really excited to see where this will go, because I feel like we are really leading up to a war of metals, of a war of who has the strongest metal, adamantium or vibranium. And I feel like that's what Val and what Ross really want to do. They really want their hands on the strongest weapons. I feel like, that's just what we've been seeing in the MCU. I mean, hell, from Ross's perspective, he always wanted to control the Avengers. That's what he really wants. Val wants the government to be in control of all of the biggest, dangerous weapons, which she really wants to have vibranium. She wants the government to be like the biggest threat, which that's why she wants vibranium so much. I'm just really interested to see where this all goes, to see what, if these plot details are true or if they're just like rumors. Like, I'm just really excited. They sound very interesting, and it really will change the MCU as we know it. And it's crazy to see kind of like a lot of the stuff I got right when it came to like, Sam recruiting the new set of Avengers, which I don't know if it'll be a mixture of young and older Avengers, or it will just be the like older Avengers, and then we'll have like Clint start the young Avengers up. Or maybe, I really don't know, but I'm just excited. I'm kind of happy that I got that like theory right of that, he would be the one to start the Avengers. And I'm excited to see if we'll see any Avengers in it. I'm excited to see who will be on the roster of Avengers, you know what I mean? So there's just a lot, of crazy stuff going on, and a lot of stuff I'm really excited for going into next year. Next year is going to be insane when it comes to Marvel shows and Marvel movies. And, this is just the beginning, because we're going to get a lot more, we're going to get a lot more, plot leaks. We're going to get a lot more actual, confirmed, stuff about these movies and shows going forward. I feel like, it's better to know when it's actually confirmed from Marvel themselves, than someone that's saying that this is confirmed and stuff like that. So I don't know. Again, this is just like rumors. It could be true, it could not be true. I just thought it would be fun to make this video and talk about these plot details, and talk about kind of my own theories about how this will all get set up and where this will all go. Regarding, going into Captain America and setting up the Thunderbolts, and setting up, the Thunderbolts in that movie to send that team to go off on their first mission in the Thunderbolts movie. But honestly, it's just crazy, because this is all leading up to one big thing. And, I feel like this would be a perfect distraction. I kind of like how, Civil War, this is, going to be, their version of Civil War, where it's, it's going to be War of the Metals, where you'll have the government and you'll have the Talokan people and Wakanda all going at each other. And the biggest threat will come, the Thanos level threat will show up, and everybody has to work together to defeat that big threat. Whether it be Kang or whether it be somebody else, I'm not quite sure. But I'm just really excited, because I feel like this is going to be the breaking point of a distraction, to have a big threat come into play, which is so genius from Marvel's end, because it's just a good way to get everybody to fight, to have the big villain go underneath their noses and then pop up where everybody's we need to come together, forget all this war shit for who has the strongest metal, we gotta fight this. So I'm excited, I cannot wait. I want to know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. Do you guys like these plot details? Do you guys think they're true? Do you think they're not true? I'm really curious to know. Yet again, guys, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, like this video. We'd love to have you guys here, a part of the family, part of the channel. We're all about spreading love, positivity, and motivation. And yet again, guys, we're almost to 1,000 subscribers. We're making our way to hitting 1,000. Right now, we're at 602. My goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers. But I would love it if we could get this. I have a lot of goals. I would love it if we can get to 700. Before, I would like to do it before the end of January if we could pull it off, get to 700 subscribers before the end of January. My initial goal is to get to 1,000 before the end of 2023. And hell, I know we could do that. So yet again, guys, here, if you are new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, like this video. And yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. But yeah, that was a video. Hope everybody has a great day, a safe day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.